Hello, I'm Lise Colucci. I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships. This is the third try to get this live stream to work today. So hopefully you guys will find me. And if not, I'm just going to go through 50 red flags of narcissistic abuse. Yay, Jack found me. Hello. That was crazy trying to get on today, but here we are. So just going to be very careful not to touch anything and hopefully not disable my internet again. I don't know what happened. Anyway, okay, a little flustered, but here we go. So somebody was asking about Tiffany. Hello, Jack. Okay, here. Okay, deep breath. Hi. If you need any help with narcissistic abuse recovery, head over to queenbeing.com. If you need coaching or group coaching, check out the description of any video. There are links to how to book those things. And we'll just get started since this was all confusing. Hello, Kim, this afternoon. I don't know. All right. 50 red flags of narcissistic abuse. Oh, also one more thing. Hit subscribe if you've not already done so. Hit the thumbs up. I'm not normally quite this discombobulated, but there we go. And it worked. Yay, James is here. If you need texting notification or would like it of my going live, I go 3 to 4 times a week. So text me at 33222, put the word Lise Live, LISELIVE, hit send, and I will text you about 10 minutes prior to with a proper link, not a link that doesn't work. All right. So, okay. Hey, Jen and Tiffany. All right. So 50 red flags of narcissistic abuse. Let's get going. Number 1, you just feel off. Something feels wrong. Your gut instinct around someone doesn't feel right. You feel on edge around this person. There's something about them that feels like they're draining your energy, like there's just something off about the way they're treating you, the way you're feeling about it. Got to learn to find that in yourself and trust that. That's a big red flag that we can trust. Does it mean the person's toxic? Maybe, maybe not, but it's one red flag. Let me start off by saying red flags are a series of things. Just because someone has a red flag doesn't mean they're toxic, okay? You'll hear these and be thinking, wow, I do that sometimes. Some of us might or, oh, maybe I've done that in relationships or whatever. Just because you do 1 or 2 of these things doesn't make you toxic. It means maybe that's something to look at in yourself and try and back off from, but it's repeating patterns of these things. Everyone has bad days, right? Repeating patterns of these things, seeing multiple red flags in one person, red flags that are no-goes, like not seeing any empathy, right? So there's some that are more than others. And there's some that you have to realize, okay, that's one thing that's possibly going on here. What are the other things I'm seeing? So I'm going to just go through them again. Okay, so you feel off. You feel on edge or on them. That's number 1. Number 2, Jack says, I used to think it was me and my insecurities, right? And then as you get to trust yourself and you have time by yourself, you realize this wasn't me all along. Okay. Number 2, seduction. They're charming, alluring. They have a way of seducing people into doing things that cross boundaries. They have a way of making you feel like you're important with their looks. The seduction of, it's like the allure, right? They're not all charming, but some of them are, or there is a seduction factor. Okay. Another number 3, idealization. So you're hanging out with someone and you are just the best thing ever. There's absolutely nothing the matter with you. You have no flaws, or you can't see a flaw in them. There is nothing about them. They're so perfect. There's an idealization that they're setting up. It's probably a sign someone is putting on a mask, because everyone has quirks and things about them that aren't perfect. Or you're able to overlook those things because they're just so ideal. They've made themselves into this idealized, they're idealizing you, you're idealizing them. Whenever you have that going on in a new relationship, you got to take a look at it, because you might find the connection or the way you relate to be really great, but they are a human being and they are not an ideal person. They are a person with their own personality, right? But a narcissist will make you feel like everything is just so perfect. It's so ideal. All right. Hello, Iraq. glad everyone found this. Okay. Number 4. What did I write here? It feels familiar. If you're a survivor, the feeling of being around a toxic person feels very familiar. You can't put your finger on it maybe, but it feels familiar. If you start looking for red flags and you know enough about narcissism, you know what that familiarity is. You can see the love bombing. You can see these red flags from a distance almost. You found it third try. Yay, Sunny. Sorry. It took me 5 tries. So I think I put take 3, but really I just sat there going, I don't know. All right. Number 5. There is self-centered talk. That doesn't mean necessarily self-centered in the way of like, I'm so this and I'm so that. Yes, the boastful, overt narcissist will come across that way. But a covert narcissist, it might be a way of listening that always relates stuff back to self. It might be a way of listening that, or a way of talking that seems like listening, but really what they're doing is listening to groom you so that they have information for what to talk about, to wear the right mask so that they are portraying themselves in an idealized way. And the talk, you'll hear it self-centered, like, well, how do you feel about me? Well, what about me? It'll all come back to them often, or situations come back to how they felt about things, how they see things. It's very self-focused and self-oriented. All right. Red flag number 1. Okay. What if you get drawn in by other narcissists because it's familiar? Like you're saying, how do you not keep layering trauma on top of trauma? Every time you see it, you catch it and you walk away from it, you know that you can withstand and leave the situation. So every time, it doesn't, just because we come across toxic people doesn't mean we are magnets per se, or that it's something wrong with us. There are toxic people out there. And so every time you try and it doesn't work because someone appears to be toxic, then you know you can walk away, and knowing you can walk away is your strength. That's the strength you build, and it gets less and less because you start seeing the signs quicker. All right. Number 6, you may feel anxious around them. Like you're walking on eggshells. You're afraid to say something. You're afraid of falling off that pedestal. You're afraid to show your true self. You have this feeling that they're not telling the whole story, and you feel kind of anxious about it. You feel this sort of anxiety. You can see a lot of these are coming back to understanding yourself and understanding what you're feeling and what you're experiencing, especially if you are highly empathic. Hey, Glitter Girl. You went no contact New Year's Eve and still no contact. Longest in 3.5 years. Yay! I want to throw the glitter in the air. I wish I had some. Yay! Excellent. How are you feeling about it, and how are you doing? You felt yourself shrinking and you walked away, Rock, and that is your strength. Don't go back to the fact that you came in contact with a toxic person. Look at the fact that you caught it and walked away. And that's where you find your strength. Okay. Okay. Number 7. Boundaries are pushed and disregarded. You set a boundary, they push it. You set a boundary, they pout. You set a boundary, they connivingly and very sweetly get you to break that boundary. They don't take no for an answer. They take no for an answer, but then do something in retaliation. They go silent when they get when a boundary is set. They act like you hurt their feelings when you set a boundary. And it may be very, very, very subtle. But boundary setting in any relationship, anything is important. And learning to see how somebody copes with the boundaries that you set. They don't have to like it. They can be like, oh, I really wanted to see you. That's too bad. That's not pushing a boundary. Pushing a boundary is, well, what about if you don't want to see me at 2, what about 1? Would that work? Pushing the boundaries. You feel great. Yay. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Number 8. Watch for feeling manipulated. Manipulated in conversation, manipulated to cross boundaries, manipulated to not be able to be yourself, manipulated to feel like you have to please someone, manipulated to feel like you're having to set chase after someone, watch for the feelings of manipulation. That's number 8. Number 9, arrogance, right? Too much arrogance. Self-confidence is one thing, arrogance is another. Boastful arrogance in an overt narcissist, a covert narcissist, it'll appear more like minimizing successes, but really talking about them an awful lot so that you praise them and say, oh, that's so great. Oh, you're so humble, So arrogance. And again, these are not one thing. This is a culmination of things. If they have people with multiple signs of red flags, everybody can be a bit boastful once in a while. That's okay. But doing it on a regular basis about everything, turning everything into conversations about oneself with an arrogant air about it. So there you go. Okay. Figment of their own delusions. Yes, they are. Everything is to them, right? No contact is really the only way to break those horrible trauma bonds and see things from the outside. Yes, indeed, it is, right? It gives you perspective and clarity, and it breaks the cycle of basically the addiction cycle that the body has toward the toxic relationship. Okay, number 10, love bombing. We know that one, right? Love bombing. What do I need to say about that? Could do a whole video on love bombing, but love bombing is a red flag. Now, that can be hard for us when we meet new people and they're excited about us and they're interested in us. Of course, there's an element of love bombing happening. Of course, there is excitement being shown. Would you want someone to hold back who really liked you? No, you'd want them to show what they feel. Love bombing is more extreme. It's the constant affection. It's the saying things out of proportion to what's going on. It's the buying of gifts that are extravagant. It's every detail is in it. It feels predatory. It feels too much. It doesn't feel like someone just genuinely being excited about you. It feels manipulative. So you watch, what is Iraq saying? Love bombing. He had to do it quick in the span of a few hours while thinking he'd have more time with me. I was grossed out by it. Right. It is very fake. It isn't the excitement of somebody innocently being excited about you. It is, or maybe not knowing how to handle big excitement, right? That's different than love bombing. Love bombing has, well, I should do a video on love bombing itself, but anyway, there's that. Number 11. I have 50, so I'm going to keep going. I wish I would have known about the love bombing. Yes, it feels like they are strings attached, which there are. Exactly. You feel the strings attached, not genuine expression of, you're so great. That's that's different than love bombing. And it can be hard for us when we meet new people after narcissistic abuse. We think everything's love bombing, and it can be hard for us to relax a little bit and let people be expressive and kind to us because it can feel like love bombing. Yeah, so I'll have to do that maybe next week. We'll talk about love bombing. All right. Number 11, the empathy seems off or lacking. The empathy doesn't feel right. You don't see any expression of empathy coming from that person toward their surroundings, in the stories that they tell, in the way they're going to treat you with what looks like empathy. Most likely. They're not going to be cold. They're going to trying to lure you in. So you're going to think you see empathy. They're going to say things that sound like empathy. Stories where they, maybe did something really, really amazing and helped someone out and things like that. That shows most of the people by the time they are past their 30s, I'd say. So most narcissists in their 40s and up, probably a lot in their 30s as well, have been told most likely that they are selfish people, if nothing else, by one or another partner in their past. So they already know that they have to express empathy. They have to express looking like they care about people in order for people to like them, right? It's a mask they're putting on. So watch for false empathy and watch for the vacancy of empathy. That can take time. And it's what you're always looking for, how someone uses their empathy if they have it, and how they if they even have it. So number 12, it feels too good. No, not it feels. It is too good to be true. There is nothing wrong here. It's too good to be true. Now, it's too good to be true in all areas. You've lost yourself so fast that you can't see anything except the good. You're not even watching the person anymore. You're swept away. Sure, that can happen, but especially if you are an open-hearted person and you enjoy the process, right? But it's in combination with the other red flags, right? Okay. Number 13, wants to know everything about you in detail. It feels like grooming because it is grooming. They want to know the details about your life. They're not just interested in you. How was your day? Tell me about that time. Remember when you were talking about this? Tell me about that. And what about this? And what about that? And how do you feel about this? And, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more. But it's more than interest in your life. It's grooming for detail to kind of an extreme, and kind of, you feel it. It feels different than when someone is genuinely interested. So much of this comes down to our own intuition. That's what I'm saying in the beginning. Like, I mean, when I talk to people, I want to know every detail. I want to know who they are. I want to hear their stories. I want to know them because I want to know how to relate to them, number one. And I just want to know who they are. It's interesting. I find people interesting. I like the stories or whatever. That's not necessarily a red flag because my intent is good. It's for communication and understanding. And their intent is to understand so that they can use it and use that information to wear a mask. So watch if you tell a story or tell them something about yourself, if suddenly they're doing the same thing, or if they're adapting their habits really quickly to yours, there's some grooming going on there. Okay, most likely. Okay. The period of grooming, yes. Grooming for detail. Yep. All right. Number 14. I'm going to try and keep my numbers straight today too. Okay. Not long out of a relationship, they are suddenly pursuing you, if they're even out of one. Maybe they are in the middle of a divorce, or they just left their partner. They'll tell you it's been months. It's actually been hours, right? Even if they're telling the truth, often it's a very fast, they need the supply, right? We know what they're doing. Somebody who can't be alone, even if they're not toxic, is a bit of a red flag. Somebody who's jumping right in without doing any work, without doing therapy or doing coaching or doing their own work on their own to heal from something is a bit of a red flag to begin with, because it means that relationship is going to be built on them just being needy. They need the relationship. But with a narcissist, it's the supply they're after. They're in an extreme lack of supply. So scarcity is present for them. They're totally have no supply unless they have some elsewhere, but their main supply is now gone or is leaving, or they're wanting to leave it. And they are searching for something to fill the void, because alone they are nothing but void, right? So quick relationship switches are a red flag. Number 15. And by quick, I'm talking weeks, days, hours, right? It can be months too, but I think there are people who can handle it a couple months. I wouldn't judge that one quite as harshly as days and weeks. Still married in the middle of a divorce, but they're actually living in the same house still. Right? Things like that. Okay. Mrs. Butterfly Rainbows, raised by narcissistic mother, anyone. Lots and lots of people here. Yes, you will find lots of people here with that scenario. Let's see, I'd say 80% of the people in my groups, right? So yeah, maybe more than 80. Let's see, number 15. Makes friends really easily with their charm, but actually doesn't have any friends in life. So they seem friendly. They don't have connections and relationships in their life. Now, an introverted person who's got a busy life and who likes their solitude, or who has been a survivor or whatever, they may not have a lot of friends either. They may have a few, but they have some, and those friendships mean something. A narcissist oftentimes has no real friends. They push people away, they chase people away, or there's a harem around them and nobody's close, right? So the friends thing, watch how they relate to their friends more than anything else. How do people relate to their friends? What are the stories they tell about their friends, the connections they have with their friends? How long have they had friends? Have they had friends since childhood? Not all of us have, and most of us have at least some for long periods of time, right? But they tend to often be able to charm people in order to make it look like they have friends or look friendly or have a lot of surface friends. Okay. Number 16, they show you off. You are an ornament on their arm. They're showing you off. Number 17, they may be sexually forceful or have a high level of sexual seduction. They may be sexually very aggressive, or not aggressive, what I want to say. Well, yeah, that too, but sexually fast. And I don't mean you have a good connection and you have sex fast when you meet someone. I'm talking from the moment of texting, like from the moment, like if you meet someone online and they're just instantly all over you in that way, that's just, ugh. Even in a hookup, that's icky, right? And it's a big red flag that person has no ability to make real connections, because they're using the one thing that is the most intimate connection, and they don't have any sense of connection about it. So, okay. It's a struggle, lots of issues to overcome, fear of abandonment, rejection, setting boundaries. It is a struggle. And Miss Butterfly Rainbows, I will just suggest quickly that there is group coaching available if you are interested, if you need it. For anyone who needs it, check out the links below. It does not specifically say for toxic mothers, but there's a lot of what you're talking about right there that we talk about often in groups. So if you need it, it's a small group of people. We have coaching a couple times a week. So that's that, just in case you need it. Otherwise, yes, there is a lot to get over. I agree. Sexually, she would push me all over. Yeah. Yep. I've had fear of abandonment since I can remember. Hello. Yes, understood. Got some interesting. I want to talk about that soon too. Abandonment. I want to do a video on abandonment issues because they're mine. Because I understand it from the inside out, and because I have some thoughts coming up on it that are kind of different. So I'll talk about that another day. Anyway, let's see. Number 18, they have job issues. They're between jobs. They're out of work. They maybe make it seem like they have a really great job, and really they don't have a great job, or they're always changing jobs. They have instability in their job. In that part of their life. Is that a red flag? Not always, but it can be in combination with other things, right? So again, it's not just one thing. Remember that when you're looking for red flags, you're looking for a whole lot of things. You're looking for the essence of who a person is and how they operate and how they function. So you have to look at all kinds of areas, all right? Number 19, makes excuses. Everyone else is to blame. So you see things in their life that don't go right, and they can explain it away by how things were other people's fault. It may be covert. It'll sound off. Like, wait a minute, when do you ever take accountability for anything? So yeah, both of mine had long-term good paying jobs. And again, not every narcissist is going to have every flag. Absolutely. We're all individual people just like they are. And not every, some of them are extremely successful in their careers and do very well and have great jobs and all kinds of jobs. So that of course, hey, Mo Cowboy. So yeah, it's just a red flag that happens with more regularly than the ones that are more successful. Okay, I guess. Family jobs or family appointed jobs don't count as real jobs for narcissists, right? They have their mask on at work. They do. And that's the thing. So I would say with jobs too, if someone is not able to be them, you can see it, the compartmentalization go from compartmentalization, which we all have to do in order to put on our work face. We all have a work face, right? I don't, but we all, most of us have to have our professional demeanor or whatever. You can't go to work and be as goofy as, unless you can. Right? We have most people have, especially some jobs, you have to be more serious. Some jobs are more, playful, whatever it is. You bring your personality though, too. So within that, there's a personality. With a narcissist, there is usually there's often a compartmentalization so much that it's a mask. They are wearing their work mask. And it's a distinctly different person when you see it. If you see them at work, you're like, who are they? Okay. Blaming everyone else for every small or large problem in life. 100%. Yep. Sunny say my covert narcissist had made it with me, but couldn't get hired. It was always excuses. He had so many talents, but others must have saw through him. Probably. Or they're looking at track record, or they're looking at something other than the talents, the personality, right? Excuse me. Excuse me. Let's see. Makes excuses. So number 20. My ex was crazy. My ex is mean and hostile and crazy. In fact, all my exes are crazy. You know what? All women are crazy. All men are crazy. Yeah. All their exes are crazy. They devalue, they put their exes in a position to be not trustworthy. So in case anything happens, then it looks like, well, of course they're saying that. They're crazy. Of course I'm on here talking about this. I'm crazy. Hi. Right? I'm crazy. I'm making it up. It didn't actually happen. Run, new supply. Run, I say. But, can't do anything about it. I'm crazy. Right? So that's what they do. Their exes are all crazy. I'm the queen of crazy. The queen of crazy. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Number 21. What did I say here? I can't. At the bottom of the page, I can't read my writing. Oh, in their lives, often they're the ones who have to hold everything together. No one at work can get by without them. No one in this situation can manage things without them. They always have to step up. And so the more altruistic, heroic type of narcissists, they are the communal narcissists. They're the ones holding it together, right? All right, number 22. Far-fetched stories of glory. So the stories that they tell about the things that they do seem a little far-fetched. Really? No one else was around to step in and help? Really? That it was that extreme? So yeah, they can tell these far-fetched tales, or a more covert one might play it down. But the stories there's a self-serving, I want praise feeling to it when they tell the story. All right. Why do they use our personal stories as their own? Well, it depends on what you mean. If they're using your personal stories with someone else as their own, it's just because it's like, instead they're being lazy. Instead of making up something out of nowhere, they have a good story that's been told to them with passion and energy and emotion. They can just repeat it and mirror it back and pretend it's theirs. If I think that they wear the mask long enough that they start to believe the delusion a little bit, that I don't think they believe it actually did happen to them, but it's sort of like, I've told this lie enough times, I might as well just keep going with it. Imagine having to cover up that many lies. You would just start adapting attaching yourself to other people's stories so you didn't have to make them up. And our stories are good, says Jack. All right. Number 23. You can't imagine that this person even has a bad side. Again, back to the idealization of them, but you just can't, like, you're not seeing anything. That mask is on tight. They are only showing you what they want you to see. Remember, this is from the mouth of a narcissist. They said, I put on a low lens that I want other people to see me through, and I show them what I want them to see. And that way I make the best first impression possible, because people believe the first impression as to be the true person. If that's not knowing what you're doing, I don't know what is. But anyway, you can't see their bad side because all they're showing you is the lens of the good mask. All right. Okay, number 24. They may appear helpless or to need you. A covert, vulnerable type of narcissist plays on your empathy. And if they see any sense of codependency in you, any sense of you being a person that's a giver, not even codependency, but giving nature, they may play on your empathy and act very needy, like they need you really rapidly, and rely on you emotionally, rely on you physically, rely on you financially, whatever it is, so that it allows you to give to them, which creates a false bond. All right. Number 25, you feel out of balance. Things feel out of balance. Like you, all of a sudden you're dating a couple of weeks and all of a sudden you're liking them a lot more than they like you. They make you chase. They suddenly stop with the love bombing, and they're not devaluing you. They're just kind of acting more like a normal person, which when you're used to all that love bombing feels like the floor dropped out, right? So you start chasing, it's out of balance. They create control through the lack of the instability in the relationship. They're not offering you stability, they're offering you instability, and it feels out of balance. Number 26, they're filling every vulnerability need you have, or they have honed in on your major vulnerabilities, like back to abandonment. They know you have an abandonment issue. Instead of just being a good person and being consistent, they're constantly there supporting you, telling you they'll never leave you. This will never happen. I'm here for you. The whole world has left you, but I would never do that to you. They're filling your vulnerability needs. They know what your vulnerability needs are when you haven't even told them. That's one thing too. All right. Sure, an empath can feel it. You can feel other people's vulnerabilities. I can sense it in people when they feel low self-worth. I can feel it. But do I sit and try and build them up? No, I don't talk about it until they're ready to talk about it, right? So, okay. Future faking, number 27. A lot of we talk from before you even meet them sometimes. A lot of we talk, a lot of future faking. Future faking being let's do this wonderful thing, and then that never happens. It starts small. Let's do this. They cancel, and then maybe reschedule something, and we never do the thing, or things get sabotaged because they're actually faking the future, right? That's also a way to create scarcity, right? So they offer you abundance and they take it away. So it creates the feeling of need because of scarcity, which is controlling and gets you part of the trauma bonding. All right. What are we talking about here? Empaths feel the vulnerability, but do not exploit it. They try to help. Narcissists who sees the vulnerability need and use it for self-interest. Exactly. It's all about intent. I mean, that's what I said. You may see some of these signs in yourself. We talk. I meet someone I like, a friend, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we should do this. We should do that. I get excited, right? But I'm not faking it. I'd actually go do those things, and I'd go right now. Like I'm not doing it to manipulate. My intent is for fun and adventure or whatever. It's not to make someone feel like I'm there for them and to pull the rug out from underneath them. So, okay. And you start realizing you aren't what we says we are. Exactly. Number 28. They do things to secure a position in your life. They create need. They create you having a need for them. They offer to help you with things too much. Helping's fine. It's great. Too much. They take over when you're trying to learn something or do something, or like say you're bad with computers and you're trying to set up your computer. They don't just come in and show you how to do it, or they don't give you suggestions. They take over and do the whole thing. Thus, you have a need for them that you can't fill on your own. They're placing themselves into your world without too fast and too aggressively. We, as helping people, as givers, we do similar, but our intent is to actually help the person. You see, this all comes down to watching for the empathy, watching for the intent in someone, and you can't know someone else's intent. It takes time. That's why don't get down on yourself if you fall in with someone and you discover it a few weeks, a few months in, and then have to back out. Don't get down on yourself for having met yet another one. Be happy that you knew these red flags, you watched for them, and you were able to walk away. All right, number 29. The truth is let out and then glossed over, and you ignore it. You know how when you look back in retrospect, you say, they told me, they warned me. He said, I'm not good in relationship. He said, everyone I love is hurt. He said, I am the source of everyone who loves me's pain. Those are words I actually heard. Did I pay any attention? No. Because it's said in such a way that you're like, oh, of course that's not, how could that be true? You know, because you're so great. It's said in such a way that you don't, that it's, so watching for the way people talk about the truth, right? A lot of narcissists reveal hints about themselves. It's almost like they're pushing the boundary to see if you will, they're placing something out there to see if you'll bite and to see how you'll react to it. It's like a test. Took years to believe myself. I saw a pattern and I did not believe myself. He already had me confused. Yep. Okay. My ex-covert narcissist gets in as HVAC repair and mess with something else. And with his new supply, every time he comes over and leaves another thing, he's reading. Yeah, everything is needing fixing. Right. She said, it's all about me. You only have control in this relationship because I let you. Right. And we laugh it off because it's such a weird thing to say, number one. And number two, it's usually placed during a conversation where it makes them seem like they're being vulnerable when they say that. And so then you respond to it with, you've just never been loved, because maybe they tell you a story about how everyone's always been so crazy and left them and they're yeah, right. And then they say that and you're like, well, that would make sense. Of course, it's all been you've been with crazy people. You know, if you've been with people who are that crazy and that, well, that makes sense. That's why even as survivors, I caution to even talk about your own abuse with someone new in those terms. I've only ever been with toxic people. You know what I mean? That kind of, it is true for a lot of us, but it doesn't need to be discussed like that because it's not our intent to manipulate someone with that information, right? And anyway, that's a whole nother topic. How to talk about the abuse. Coming up with all kinds of topics today, and I'm going to forget them. Remind me, you guys. Love bombing. What was the other one? See? Okay. Yeah. All right. Where was I? Number 20 something. Number 30, you find yourself doing more than seems right for them. You find yourself giving. You're running errands for them. You're taking time out of your day to go do something for them. You're putting in more effort than they seem to be putting in. You're putting in efforts that are beyond the scope of where the relationship is. You're doing stuff for them all the time. They're grooming you to be their servants, right? Okay. They're grooming you to feel needed is what they're doing, really. They're making you feel needed and important in their life. Instead of doing it through dialogue, communication, and emotional exchange, they're doing it through the tasks that make you feel like an important person in someone else's life. And us, people who like to give, we do it. We feel good about it. Oh, they like that. That was super helpful. All right. Okay. Number 31, they make you feel uniquely special, right? Number 32, set up things to make you feel insecure. Gee, they disappear. Where did they go? Now I'm scared. Now I'm anxious. Or, wow, every single female friend they have is gorgeous, or male friend they have is super good looking, whatever, the gender is of the narcissist and their sexual preference. It doesn't matter. Everyone around them is beautiful. Or, and gosh, I don't measure up. They make you feel like you don't measure up to things. Your insecurities come into play, and they know your insecurity the minute they meet you, right? They have the radar and the sensing to understand what they're looking at and how to read people so that they can use this information to manipulate it so that you feel insecure. Why do they want you to feel insecure? Because it's all about control and you believing that the delusion that they're setting up is the reality of life. They need to create the world as they see it around them. And then everyone who's in their world has to fit into the idealized place in that world. So they need you to be unstable and off your game. Okay. All right. Number 30. Number 32. No, number 33. Lies are explained away. You catch them in a tiny lie and they can explain it every time. Number 34, they give you pet names before they've even met you. They give you pet names very fast. It's a form of love bombing. It's a familiarity ploy, right? To get you feeling secure and comfortable. So they want you to feel attached and secure and comfortable. And they want you to feel insecure and like they're not attached. They want you to attach to them. They don't want you to feel like they're attached to you. And they want you, yeah. So you see, these all go together. All right. 33, you see and think of their potential. You think their potential. I'm sorry. Let me read this. Okay. So you see their potential and you feel how you can help them meet it. So the more vulnerable, covert ones may have sob stories, and you see how much potential they have and how your love and your amazing support can help them meet that potential. That's not really healthy in any case. It's great to help people to lift each other up, to see the potential mutually in one another. That's great. But with it that one-sided, there's something off. Okay. What are we saying here? If I miss anything, you guys just retype it, please. Number 36, they want every second of your time. Number 37, there is constant texting. Now, a lot of us like to text. A lot of people like to text. Constant texting does not in itself mean a red flag. It's the way the texting is, the invasiveness of it. It's not a check-in. It's not a, hey, what do you think of this? It's not a, oh my gosh, it's an insertion into your life, an insertion into your day, and it feels like one. All right. I lifted him up. He devalued me and uses intermittent reinforcement. Yep. Yes, exactly. Number 38, they make you feel bad being with others. So you want to go hang out with your friends and you're feeling guilty about it. Not, I feel, oh, I really want to be with this new person. They're super fun. I'm going to go with my friends and thinking about the other person. That's different. They actually will do passive aggressive or subtle jabs or anything to make you feel, to try and help create the feeling in you of feeling bad about being with others. Number 39, they take things personally, everything personally. That is very, regardless of what the diagnosis, people who take everything personally, that creates walking on eggshells, right? No matter what is up with them. It's not happy. It's not a fun life. All right. Number 40, they are jealous of the children. You have children and they're jealous of the time you give that kid. They're jealous of their own children or they're bragging about their children and using them as as pawns to lure you in because their kids are, yeah. Okay. Number 41, their accountability is lacking. You watch how they talk about things that require accountability in life. It just seems off. It's lacking. Number 42, they are punitive and judgmental. You watch how they handle things where they have to be discerning and judging of a situation, and you watch how they talk about other people, the judgmental ways they talk. You listen to how they tell stories about something where you hear the punishment. They like to punish, especially the malignant narcissist. The malignant narcissist is also a sadist, remember. The malignant narcissist also has antisocial personality disorder going on. So malignant narcissist is extremely punitive and judgmental. All right, number 43. What am I missing here? Yeah, mine hated it when my adult children would call me. Right. Okay. Okay. Number, what'd I say? 43. That people like, what did I say here? They treat people like possessions. Pay attention. Pay attention to how they talk about other people, how they talk about their children, how they talk about their friends. Listen to, do they see people as individuals? Are they idealizing people? Are they can you see the mask that they wear with each person because of how they talk about that person? Does that make sense? But they treat people like possessions. We know they do that. So just look for ways to see that happening. I'm trying to think of an example. Usually it's something that spins back to and relates to self, or often it is. Number 44, it feels like a roller coaster. Your relationship is not steady from the get-go. Often you're going way up high really fast. Then you'll have something happen and you'll be going down and up and around, loop to loop. It feels like a roller coaster, okay? And the longer you're in it, the more it feels like a roller coaster. Things can feel like a roller coaster in the beginning. If you have a great connection with someone and you have great conversations, physical attraction and everything just like right there, wow, this person could be the right person for me. That kind of feeling, that can feel like a roller coaster because the emotions are big, because it's too fast for that. You don't know them in real life enough and everything else feels very fast. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that going on for months and months. Usually the ones that happen really, really big in the beginning that are actually okay, they balance out. They balance out. You find a way to have life together. You do things together. You experience each other, and things balance out, and the roller coaster smooths to a nice, good ride. This is continual and never-ending roller coaster. All right. Number 45. There is, let's not bark. Please don't bark. Don't bark. Don't do it. Neighbor dog barking. Don't do it. Number 45. There's often sex addiction, sex issues, or fetishes. It can be withholding. It can be sexual. There's often sexual issues going on with the narcissistic person. Addiction being a big one. Porn addiction being another one. Fetishes. Not everyone who's into lifestyle things and fetishes are narcissists. There's a high risk that they could be. Let's just put it that way. So you got to watch if you're into things that are sexually less vanilla, you got to watch even more. Be diligent in everything you're watching, because remember that sometimes that lifestyle gives over control intentionally. Make sure you know who you're giving over control to, or who is asking you to take control, because sometimes they can play the other side, right? So be careful there. I'm not saying that everyone with those, with those things going on in their life has an issue with it, but there are a lot of narcissists who have that going on. So be careful. You decided to become a monk basically now. I understand. Okay. You were the one with the sex issues. She was the one who wanted. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sex is not about love to them. I have videos on it, lots of them. Sex is about control, power, and getting off. And that's it. to them. It's the ultimate in controlling you. They know that people bond through sexual intimacy. They know that people have intimacy. They feel intimacy in a different way. They feel it as the power that they have over you. And the connection, that connection is you belonging to them. What they call connection, what we feel as connection, they feel as ownership, possession. Okay. So, and sex is a really fast and easy way to get it. Okay. Number 46, they ruin occasions. Ruin your birthday. They ruin a holiday. They ruin a party. They ruin things with, say, sabotage. Hey guys, we're not going to play right now. Number 47, they keep you in limbo over events with time. They won't commit. There's a low commitment. Keep people keeping you in limbo with all these other things going on. They're not committing. There's narcissists they don't attach. They attach. They're avoidant attachers, right? So there's not going to be a lot of commitment, or they overly commit it on their timing. We'll do things on my time, right? Okay. Number 48, they isolate you from your friends and your life. You stop doing the things you love. Uh-oh. Either you are falling head over heels for someone and losing yourself and need to back up and go, whoa, I better keep doing the things I love too, and set some boundaries and repace things. And in a healthy relationship, that will even out. Or they are deliberately doing this to keep all of your supply for themselves. All right, number 49, they need praise and adoration. They need it. They need you to adore them. They need you to dote on them. They need you to give all of your attention and focus to them. All right. I'm reading if there's any questions. Okay. Okay, number 50. Oh, is this the last one? Yes, this is the last one. Number 50. They undermine your accomplishments, but then probably brag about them to other people. So to you, somehow there's always a feeling of undermining of your accomplishments. Maybe they even take on your accomplishments and call them their own. But when they're out in public or to their friends or family, I can distinctly remember having an annoyed irritation at something I achieved, and then hearing the words of the narcissist on the phone with their parent, bragging about that very same thing that they were annoyed with about me. So yeah. Okay. That's the 50 I have. There are many more red flags, but there's 50 of them for you to start looking at. To end this, I want to say that knowing yourself, knowing your intuition, understanding your intuition, understanding what's you and what's other people, understanding where you're coming from and that how you're feeling is real. And that just being able to distinguish when you're triggered anxious and when you're anxious because someone makes you feel anxious. Can you do that? When you're able to do that, you are able to start looking for red flags really well. Okay. And you do that by you experience yourself. You talk inside your head to yourself about the situation. You understand separating it. Am I anxious because I'm triggered because this is a new and exciting thing? Or is this person making me anxious? And you have to weigh it back and forth and feel what it feels like around them and what it feels like away from them. What's triggering it, and understand yourself. So it's really a lot of the seeing of red flags is trusting yourself, knowing your boundaries, and understanding what's you and what's empathy, your empathy, understanding, and picking up. This list I've watched and read so many things about red flags, but now that I'm out, it takes a very new perspective. Wow, right? It does. Okay. Anybody have any questions today or anything that is up for them that they want to talk about before we end here? We're almost at an hour and I'm almost out of voice. So anything anyone needs today? I don't know who was asking to talk. I can't remember. It's on the other chat, so I can't find it. But if you're here, I'm done after this. So for the day, I think. Yes. Yeah. Any questions? Anybody have anything that's come up for them that they need help with? Just let me know right now. Otherwise, I'm going to end this. The 50 red flags is done. Yeah, I wish you guys a great weekend too. Again, if you need any help with coaching or group coaching, check out the links in the main description of every video. Hit the subscribe button if you've not subscribed. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoy these. And if you want texting notifications, come into your text 10 minutes before I go live. Text me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, LISE, hit send, one word. Hit send, and I'll text you. That's the only text you get from me. You'll get it probably 3 to 4 times a week because that's when I come on here. All right. All right. I'm glad that helped, Robin. How much should I support the new supply? She calls me. Support in what way? And what does she call about? What is she asking you? I would keep it brief and keep it, if new supply called me right now and said, I don't know what to do, what's happening, blah, 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 I'd say watch my videos, number one, but I would link them to resources. I would say, trust your instinct, trust that what you're feeling is you feeling it, that it's real. The track record indicates that it's most likely not you that's the problem. This person's track record, what are you feeling? You can't say too much because it could just be a flying monkey. It could be a trap. Also, you could scare them away and right back into the narcissist's arms. If you say too much and they confront the narcissist too early on in the relationship, they're not going to believe the truth because the early love bombing is pretty intense. I mean, the early trauma bonding, right? When there's not a lot of perspective and a lot of time spent to have multiple experiences of abuse and maybe you're just sort of starting to see it. Yeah, that can be. So I would keep it. You validated her gut feeling, backed with paper proof. Yeah, I would just keep it. I would link to resources and say that I can only speak for myself and what happened to me. And it might sound biased to you. So here, check this out. And I would link resources. I'd find videos and then link them and say, check this out. Or something that takes the triangulation out of it and makes it less personal. Something that can't be pointed back to you. Does that make sense? That's what I would do. But that's me. So link to resources and step back. She may be a flying monkey or become one. That's right. Give her a resource and back away. Yep. That's what I think too. Give her a resource and say, trust your gut. That's always a good thing to tell anyone, right? I mean, really, we have to learn to do that. Trust your instincts. And a lot of times that's hard though, when someone is trauma bonded already, because their instincts are telling them to trust. They don't feel their instincts anymore. So that can be tricky too. I might say something like, it seems like you're questioning things. Here's some resources that helped me. All right. Malignant narcissist. The very first term that came up when I was researching out of my mind was what was happening. Malignant narcissist. I just did a video on them a couple weeks ago. On them types. Yeah. Okay. I know them intimately. No fun, right? All right. Anything else? I think otherwise, I didn't trust my gut when I was trauma bonded. Right. And sometimes you can't even feel it because you're feeling the anxiety of the trauma bond. So it's hard to know what's your instinct and what is your trauma bond and what's your gut, right? I might have started seeing an INFJ, but I'll be checking it out, slightly holding back. Well, that's exciting. It's hard, but being with them feels so much worse. It's literally life or death with these freaks. Hugs to you. Yes. Yes, you trust their story because you're trauma bonded, right? Okay, you guys, been at an hour here. We're going to go. Have a good weekend. I will see you guys next week. You take care. Be well. Bye-bye.